This is verse 13 of the 6th chapter, Gospel of Matthew. We're reaching the final request. It's given to us in what's commonly called the Lord's Prayer, in which the prayer is requesting that the tests of life not become too severe, that God guard the one who is praying from overwhelming tests. And so we have Kai, the connective, may, the negation used with the subjunctive. You may know that the aorist subjunctive with the may negation is a prohibition, a way of expressing a negative command. So may asenegkes, this is from asphero. Pharaoh means to bring or to bear. Asphero, to bring to, that's the idea, and it commonly has the notion of leading. So do not lead, do not bring us. Hemas is the direct object. This is the first person plural accusative, so do not lead us. Ace, preposition, takes the accusative perosmon into perosmon is the idea of the place of being tested or tempted. It can mean to be tempted to evil, but not necessarily. It has a broader sense of just being tested. It's from pyrodzo, the verb, which means I test. It can be testing something even in terms of metallurgy, something like that, putting it to a test. So the prayer is in a general sense not to be brought into a place of severe testing, of testing that might result in a collapse or failure of the one who is being tested. So lead us not into the place of testing. But then a sharper point is put on it in the next part of it. Allah, the strong conjunction. Hrusai, this again is the imperative. It's in this case the second person singular aorist, middle in form, active in meaning, imperative. So, but deliver is the notion. It's actually rooted in a notion of a flowing river and being delivered by getting into the current of the river. That's the very distant derivative sense of this, but it meant generally to be delivered. But deliver, hemas, same pronoun here, deliver us, apo, from, with the genitive, to, the, poneru, the evil or the evil one. And it's commonly understood that this is an allusion to satanic temptation, that is the kind of temptation that might be brought by one who's actually trying to seduce the believer. So it's prayer to be delivered from the attempts by the evil one to cause a collapse, a failure, a falling into sin that might otherwise take place. Final request, of course, you know the traditional form of the Lord's Prayer adds the words, thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. That, of course, was added much later to make the prayer more useful in a liturgical setting. It makes a more probably appropriate conclusion to the prayer, but the actual prayer offered by Jesus is unanimously regarded as what we have before us here in this concluding request, is that we should be delivered from the temptations either to evil or otherwise, which might bring about a collapse or loss or a failure of faith.